Hey everyone, I'm currently driving and I have quite a bit of a drive. It's about a half an hour. It's not quite a bit of a drive. But anyways, I wanted to make a video about Gilligan's Island. And I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone by thinking, talking, and driving at the same time, which I actually can do. I'm multi-talented. That's why I'm wearing my glasses, because I need them to see. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Gilligan's Island today, and a little bit of background on me is I was raised with three sisters. One is 10 and a half months older, the other one is 2 years younger, last one is 6 years younger, and you can be raised in a Gilligan's Island, or you can be raised as the Island of Misfit Toys, or sometimes Lord of the Flies, depending on what kind of family you're in. So anyways, I want to talk about Gilligan's Island and how important it is for us who have faced any challenges, and sometimes it's either going through divorce or being alienated from your kids or anything along those lines, and why it's so important to have your very own Gilligan's Island. So I loved Gilligan's Island when I was a kid, and I don't know why I liked it so much. It was probably the fact that there was humor. There was a movie star and some rich people, and it was just, I don't know, a really neat show. And I don't know if they have reruns on TV or not. I would hope they do. But anyways, talking about Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island was, they were on the SS Minnow. They were, going on the SS Minnow, and they crashed on a deserted island. And lo and behold, even with an SOS, they, were stranded. And it was supposed to be only, I think, a 3-hour tour. And what ended up happening is that they were stranded on this deserted island for an indefinite length of time, from what I remember. I don't honestly remember the very last show, because it is one of these things that I forgot about. And so they all worked together and did what they had to do in order to survive on this deserted island. And each one played their part. There was a professor, or let's start with the captain. The captain, Gilligan, was his sidekick. And then you had Marianne, who looked like a school teacher. Ginger, the movie star. You had the Howells, which were the rich couple stranded with them, and then you had the professor. So all of them together were able to work together on this deserted island in order to survive, and they all used whatever skill set they had in order to get through it together. And looking at life, and even looking at your own family, you have to, when you're looking at digging deep and figuring out why you do the things you do, most important probably is looking at your own family dynamic and how you all were raised. Were you raised on a Gilligan's Island, or were you raised completely opposite, where you ended up disconnected and fending for yourselves? In my life, I said I had three sisters, two parents, mom and dad, until they divorced, but I don't particularly remember. We all ate dinner together every night. We had a house, we went to Catholic school, this and that. We had our education, we had a lot of external family members, but when you're looking at the dynamic inside of our home, I don't believe, from my personal experience, we each used our own individual gifts for the greater good of the family. I think really each one of us did what we had to do to get through our home life. And we were not physically abused. In fact, my dad really didn't say much because of his upbringing. He didn't really say much to us kids when we were young, until we got older. Then we talked a lot, of course, and he was my best friend. sorry about that. But anyways, we kind of were left to our own accord, and I remember specifically, my dad was kind of more or less a babysitter. I'm not saying he didn't provide for us, because he did, but he was more or less kind of a babysitter. Not, I love him, he's my best friend, but he wasn't a really good babysitter. My mom and dad weren't a team, is I guess what I'm saying. Had they been a team, it probably would have been different. I just remember my dad always would say, Lori, do what you want, just don't tell your mom. And he was, I guess he didn't worry, I don't know. But then I remember after my parents got divorced, he moved in with my grandma, and I remember calling him and begging him, Dad, can I please move in with you? And he'd say, no, I don't have enough room, because it was pretty rough, you know, in my house with my mom, because my dad was no longer there as a buffer. The joy was kind of stolen from our home, because my dad was, in fact, a fantastic person. He was great, he was wonderful, he was kind, he was loving and all that. And when he left, he kind of stole all of that, all of my joy and happiness, like left, was just walked out the door when he left. I didn't say, I can't say I didn't have joy with my sisters, but it was in spurts. I mean, it wasn't just in spurts, but it was a different dynamic when my mom was there. My dad was really cool. My mom, like I said, our islands were totally different when he was there and when he wasn't there. So as an adult, you know, because I was raised in a family where I kind of did my own thing and made my own decisions, and, you know, I wasn't really part of a, you know, Gilligan's Island. I grew up and I realized I was so used to doing things my own way that I found it very difficult to ask for help, because when you ask for help in our family, through my mom, especially when it came to money, it was held over and used against you. So as an adult, it was almost like you owed her. It wasn't just that you owed her the money back. It was, you know, she used that money to take up your time. You know, it was just draining to ask my mom for money. It was like the last thing in the world you want to do. It's like nails on a chalkboard. So I forgot where I was going with this. So because I learned that as an adult, I had to rely, as a child, I had to rely on myself. As an adult, I did the same thing. I became very self-sufficient in survival mode, and even in my first marriage, I normally was the one to take care of, things, and be the problem solver. It's just the way it was. That was just a dynamic of the relationship. So I did things on my own for so long, and I carried the weight of everything on my shoulders for so long, that I realized as a human being, I am not meant to carry this weight by myself in this world. Good people like me, I'm trying to rearrange my cards so I don't get a lot of sun in my eyes, but good people like me, because I'm a good person, have the opportunity to find other good people like them, to become a collected front and gain their own Gilligan's Island, because together with your crew, you all can survive in this world. It is an interesting concept when you're not used to asking for help. And when you do, it's anxiety-ridden because you think there's going to be strings attached. But in what I've experienced in my own life is that just like I'm a very giving person and I help if and when I can, there are a lot of people in this world, more people than not, that want to be on your Gilligan's Island. When we face trials and we are dealing with very difficult situations, whether you're facing a divorce or you've had the loss of a loved one, or you have had a cancer diagnosis, or in my situation current, I'm going to have surgery on my wrist, and I will be out of commission with my right hand for initially 2 weeks in a cast. And then after that, I have to go, I think they'll remove the stitches after that, but then maybe, I don't know when, but then I have to go to physical therapy to start learning how to use my hand again in various manners and get things working again. So here I am facing this. I have been thinking, how am I going to do this on my own? How am I going to do this when I'm alone during the day? And how am I going to put my shoes on? How am I going to put my socks on? So I've been thinking about how I can make my own life easier, which is great. You know, I'm self-sufficient. But I'm letting you know right now, because I have people on my Gilligan's Island. I don't have a large group of people on my Gilligan's Island, but I have a handful. I know that my life post-op will be much easier because I have people on my side. And I have people that are making themselves available to make sure that I will not suffer needless. It's not like I'm asking someone to give me a bath or anything like that, but all I know is that having a Gilligan's Island, when you first are in your shipwreck and you reach your deserted island and you realize it's a make or break it situation, the sooner you can find people in your life and you can gather your own Gilligan's Island and your own cast of characters, the sooner your life will have relief, will have respite, will have peace, will have the load lifted. You won't have to carry everything on your shoulders, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically. And life will just be so much better. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because these are not things we think about very often. And these are just analogies that pop into my head. So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope everyone's having a great day, and we will talk with you soon. Bye.